electric bikes have not been cracked yet. We've ourselves looked at it multiple times. Abhi bike na, I think it'll take time. Scooters are far more successful.
And why is the reason for that? Electric bikes will take more time.
Well, for that you'll have to understand, why do people buy bikes first? Why do you think people buy bikes?
I think part of it is show off, part of it is high performance vehicle that on a two-wheeler. That and the bike persona is either, if you see, right, go back. If people used to buy Hero Splendor.
Yes, they still do, by the way.
This
is the highest selling two-wheeler in the country, even now.
So I use it for crappy roads, right? That's the best vehicle in India for crappy roads, for village roads, for tier 3 road, right? Bajaj Pulsar became a rage in tier 1 and tier 2. That's my understanding. And then everybody build on top of it, whether they want to build for tier 1 or they want to build for tier 3.
So you said you can fundamentally give 3 reasons. One was performance.
Yeah.
Next was show off. Third was ruggedness.
Yeah.
Right. Now, number 1, number 2, vehicles that are bought for performance or show off are vehicles which have to be better than a scooter at least.
Yeah.
Agar scooter ka performance hoga to the point hai.
Bike is better than Activa on any day, right? For high performance.
Important question. Splendor is not better than an Activa.
Okay.
Splendor is not better than an Ather at all. Okay. What is better is typically a 180cc bike and beyond. The market of 180cc bikes and beyond in India is, I think, about 6% of the Indian two-wheeler market. And about 10% of the bike market. 90% of the bike market in India is basically Splendor. 80-90%. Now that market is also increasingly buying it less for ruggedness. Ruggedness ka factor tha when roads were like absolutely shit in India. And highways were like not present. It was just all bad village quality roads. Roads have changed radically in India in the last 5-10 years. Tier 1, 2, and especially tier 3. Tier 3 road quality is actually quite phenomenal. Interstate highways is like pretty good now.
I'm talking about inside villages or inside small.
Inside villages is not, again, large enough volume. In the village road quality is also no longer terrible. So what's trying to happen is somebody buying a Splendor still does buy it for the bigger wheels, so better suspension, but that's becoming less and less of a factor. Today, people are buying a Splendor because it's cheaper than an Activa to buy and it has more mileage, which means it's cheaper than an Activa to run. So Splendor is fundamentally linked to purchase capacity. Aapke paas, if you could afford, you would buy an Activa. If you can't afford the running cost or the upfront cost, then you have to opt for a Splendor. And in my opinion, electric challenges that completely. Electric TCO is way better than a Activa and way better than a Splendor also. Because Splendor also you will spend 2,000 rupees a month. Electric scooter you will spend 300 rupees a month. Comparison nahi hai. I think the real bike market in India long term is the number 1 and number 2 reason, which is the show off and the performance bike. But that's 5-10% of the entire two-wheeler market. I think 90% of the Indian two-wheeler market really has got to be scooters. If you buy a bike in a city, if you buy a Splendor, you're kind of condemning your entire family to not travel. Right? Because then your wife can't travel on a Splendor. Your 60, 65-year-old parents can't travel on a Splendor. If you got a young teenage kid, he or she can't travel on a Splendor. Only you can travel on a Splendor. If you have storage, you're screwed. If you buy one Apple, you don't have space. Right? So buying a bike in India is actually a lot of inconvenience. No storage, really bad ergonomics, but from a foot pegs perspective, and very limited mobility. So the primary reason is cost. And electric breaks that completely. So my belief for the last several years has been electric scooters will decimate the commuter entry motorcycle market in India over the next 10 years. What will be left as motorcycles is the premium and the high performance category, 180, 200cc and beyond, which will be a meaningful chunk, but 10%, maybe 20%. So I think multiple people have sort of concluded the same, which is why they're not attacking bikes very aggressively. Obviously, with the expanding business, all of us will launch bikes, but the reason it's not central to our pitch yet is because of these reasons.
So you sold 1 lakh scooters in FY 22-23, right? Overall in India, if you would have the number or approximate number, how many two-wheelers got sold?
So last year, I think about 6-7 lakh vehicles were sold, electric. Us, Ola, TVS were about, I think, 50% of it. I think we did 1 lakh. I think Ola did 1.5 lakhs, and TVS did again just under a lakh. So about 3.5 lakh between us.
And what would be the non-electric vehicle sold in India?
Oh, huge! Talk about headroom. 1.6 crore last year.
And how much of that would be bike versus scooter?
Roughly 2/3, 1/3. 2/3 is bikes, 1/3 is scooters.
But bike still owns like a 1/3 chunk of it, which still makes
because affordability. If you can't afford a scooter, you have to settle for a bike, commuter.
Yeah.
Electric scooters don't solve. Electric scooters solve that very differently, rather. Electric bikes don't change that. So that's the primary reason. So if you build an electric bike, it's got to be a little bit of a performance-y bike. Jiska market hai, it's just that it's not the market that you think it is. If you got to beat a Splendor, you will likely beat it with a scooter and not a bike.
Got it. And Splendor still sells, right? The number one bike.
It is outrageous. It is so wrong. It is unbelievable, the success of that product. 30 years later, it is still the market leader. I think if ever a sector needed disruption, it is the Splendor. I mean, कोई disrupt करो इसको यार, क्या मतलब? And it's got the best gross margins. Like automotive companies, I think globally would kill themselves for 20-25% gross margin. Splendor, I am sure, has way more gross margin than most premium automotive companies in the world.
Yeah. Splendor starts at 60,000, I think, today.
Yeah, 60-70K. Yeah.
Activa today is 80-90K.
Yes.
So it's phenomenal, right? And Splendor would sell what? 10-20 lakhs units a year?
What? No.
No?
Splendor sells 35-40 lakhs units a year.
And that number is still growing.
नहीं, वो grow नहीं हो रहा है अब.
नहीं हो रहा.
Growth has stalled now.
Okay.
It's so it will get disrupted now, but the lead has been just phenomenal.
Yeah. Like 4 million units. And in two-wheeler scooters, non-electric, what would be the number one and how many units would it sell?
Two-wheeler, electric or non-electric?
Non-electric.
Non-electric Activa. Every other scooter sold in the country is an Activa. So Indian two-wheeler market is a very unique dynamic. Generally, car markets globally are fairly fragmented. Like if you want to be successful as a car maker in US, you need a wide enough portfolio.
Yeah.
You need like 10 product lines. You need like 10, 12 variants on each. You need a pretty rich portfolio. India mein, the market leader in two-wheelers always gets to 50% plus market share. Splendor, dominating market share, more than 50%. Activa, winner, 55% market share. Pulsar, winner in the commuter sports category, I think more than 50% market share. Royal Enfield, winner in the, I don't know what to call the category, but 350cc category, 90% market share. So India two-wheeler winners never have to settle for scraps. If you're a winner, you will just like 50, 60, 70% market share is a given, which is what creates the really rich margin profile the Indian two-wheeler companies enjoy. Like Indian two-wheeler gross margins, and maybe I'm jinxing them. I hope I don't jinx them. Are one of the richest globally. Not one. I think they are the richest.
20-25%, right?
More. I think close to 30. It's outrageous. Premium luxury products get to those kind of margin structures in automotive, not commuter products.
And globally, cars are less than 10% gross margin business?
15-ish.
15.
Yeah, if you get to 20, you're a Tesla. Tesla got to like, I think, late 20s, and it was like, it's considered a anomaly.
Yeah.
Two-wheelers do that regularly in India.